Hey guys, and welcome to a battle showcase in the Berserk Warriors of Khorne. I'm a Rubber Duck of War, and today we're playing up against Logic_EU in a land battle showdown on Peak Hunger. This is an Ogre Mountains map, and it is going to be Khorne versus Cathay, which is a pretty good fun matchup all round. The kind of a blitz of Khorne taking on the defensive nature of Grand Cathay, attempt to bring their crossbows and great cannons to bear. We don't want that many skirmishers. We do have some flesh hounds and some furies, but for the most part, we're going to be looking to grind through the enemy front line with brute force, which of course is the Khorne way. Without further ado, let's delve into the armies. We've gone for a very wide build, a mixture of bloodletters as well as Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons. They might as well have called these bad boys Berserkers, unless Berserkers are going to be coming in later in the game in a more elite variety. But we do have the Berserkers and bloodletters all the way along here. I don't think we have anything too fancy. It is just that basic mid-tier infantry glorious rush. We have the Cultist of Khorne on a foot, I believe. I actually quite like bringing these bad boys on foot. I love their little symbol as well. We're bringing him just for that summon. The idea, of course, is to get to the front line, summon a unit of bloodletters into the enemy crossbow back line, and just run absolute havoc. I do have a glorious Exalted Bloodthirster who has taken it to the ground today, just in case there was any grand cannon fire. Should be able to get up into the skies, though, as the battle does progress. And really underrated all round is the Bloodthirster. Scarbrand is incredibly powerful, but I suppose flexibility of being able to fly is really quite powerful. So I love the Exalted Bloodthirster coming in, basically pretty much naked, I believe. We don't have anything too crazy on him, just a cheap, cheerful, hard-hitting lord. I have some Flesh Hounds lurking in the trees, as well as some Furies in the back, and more Furies and Hellhounds on the far side. So pretty fun stuff. My opponent is going to go in for the traditional Grand Cathay way of playing, which of course is the onion style of build, very reminiscent of the Dowie, and Logic is a big Dowie fan in general, so it's good to see him bringing Grand Cathay into action. A load of Jade Warriors dotted all the way along the front line, using the natural terrain as well as a flank denier there. We do have some Jade Warrior crossbowmen in the secondary line, or in fact in the central pocket, because we also have Jade Warriors making a secondary battle line, as well as the deep reserves here. No Peasant Long Spearmen, which is quite surprising to see. Very common pick for Grand Cathay in general. We have Double Alchemist as well, going full Metal Alchemist. I've not actually seen that show, or is it Full Jacket Alchemist? I don't know what it is. I haven't seen the show. I apologize. Wanted to make the meme. Anyway, they're coming in with their Enchanted Metallurgy. That is definitely a word we're going to be sticking with, which does give magic attacks as well as base weapon damage and base missile damage. Quite a useful buff there. The Alchemist Elixir as well here for the extra melee attack, and the one for the extra armor. Pretty cool stuff here. We're trying to power up where possible with Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon, simply coming in with Final Transmutation. Is how often you see Zhao Ming kind of brought just with Final Trans, sometimes coming in with Plague of Rust as well. Without further ado, let's get this battle underway. Grand Cathay will be marching up, but they don't want to move too far. They want to keep this train on their left-hand flank. There is a bit of a gap that I can push in to try to jump at the Jade Warrior crossbowman, but could well be a trap around the Jade Warrior halberd simply to move up and engage the enemy. So we're going to be taking quite a lot of damage on the approach, I'd expect, with so many crossbows on the battlefield. My opponent, yeah, is waiting there patiently as I do advance. We move our entire Bloodthirster into the trees alongside the Flesh Hounds. Looks like the Cultists are Khorne. We've got two of those bad boys. Once we're moving up to the left-hand side here, as Bloodletters take the long approach. Now, I was considering moving these two Bloodletters up and around the terrain, but it would simply take too long, I think, to really get involved in the action. So instead, I have some Flesh Hounds and Furies. We're attempting to swoop into the back line instead. You can see those halberds will be moving up to close off the gap of approach for the Bloodletters. And we're taking big damage on the warpath. Now, this is the problem with Bloodletters compared to the basic warriors, where I would have shields and be able to absorb a lot of the enemy damage. But the Bloodletter Rush does, of course, come in with a few bonuses as well. Very fast. And once it gets in combat, can really rip your opponent to shreds. Now, we have managed to get the drop on our opponent here. The Flesh Hounds are Khorne bounding onto the crossbowman, as well as Furies on it to Jade Warriors. Now to shut down a significant amount of my opponent's damage value there. 3 units all shut down as the Bloodletters do emerge into combat. Rather battered and bruised, I'm afraid, though. And it looks like our Bloodthirster does jump up into the skies for the first time in the battle. Some of the Bloodletters does swarm onto the halberds in the back, who are trying their best to protect the Jade Warrior crossbowmen. Other units are starting to flee in all directions. Bloodletters really trying their heart out here. Looks like we are going to be seeing a big buff come in, though. Although it's a Final Transmutation, a big debuff, catching so many of my units. A lovely cast there coming in by Logic. The Bloodthirster, he's going directly after Zhao Ming, who is restraining from Dragon Form at the moment. Wants to be able to cast those spells. He's been brought as more of a spellcaster today. Some lovely attack animations as he tries his best Dragon Ball Z impression, as well as the Double Alchemist trying to help out. But Bloodthirsters are really gnarly beasts, and they can, of course, easily dismantle human and dragon alike. Crossbowmen are being shut down in the back by the Fleshhounds. Looks like a lot of the Bloodletters have started to give up, despite doing decent damage in the back line. The summons as well have been really pivotal and useful, but the Bloodletters struggling a little bit more in the enemy front line now. Something we do have, which is performing amazing, is the Chaos Warriors with dual weapons here, decapitating at heads and severing limbs. Blood for the Blood God, skulls for the Skull Throne. I love it. And it looks like our summon is getting down and dirty with the halberds right now, which is a fantastic target. Takes away some more of the armor piercing of my opponent's build, which will hopefully allow the dual weapons to shine. Zhao Ming is getting his little hindy kicked in right now by the Exiled Bloodthirster, who looks phenomenal as he does so, sending friend and foe sprawling in all different directions. It looks like we're going to eat a rather nasty final transmutation again, well placed, catching the Exiled Bloodthirster. My little cultist here, plus a healthy unit of Chaos Warriors or with dual weapons. But if we can take down the enemy hero core, I think it's a price worth paying. Now, Bloodletters are carving their way through Jade Warriors. A couple of inactive units which are starting to come back to the battlefield in the form of halberds. Of course, I won't have those because we do not have units which rally and come back. We've got a few, but not that many. Essentially, the majority of our build is demon focused today. Lovely slow-mo battlefield picture here, as we can see the Fleshhounds delving into the back and just carving their way through Jade Warriors, who are terrified and fleeing for their lives. Likewise, halberds are starting to struggle, and the glorious dual weapons really are the perfect counter here too. Quite a few factions, a lot of them against Nurgle as well in particular. Against Cathay, they can really do some big damage. One alchemist has been forced back by the cultists of Khorne. The Horn of Khorne has been blown in the deep one last time, giving us extra melee attack as we start to slaughter Zhao Ming, who's taken an oath not to transform into a dragon today, just so he can keep popping as many final transmutations as possible. The last Zhao Ming is a noble choice to fight me man on demon. It was also a foolish one, as Zhao Ming is going to get slaughtered here and driven off the battlefield. The alchemists again tucked up quite nicely in bed by the cultists of Khorne, and it looks like the hero core for my opponent has been completely ripped apart. Bounce power is pretty even. Dual weapons are going to charge in on the halberds, and we still have Bloodletters hunting down crossbowmen, which is certainly something we have to do because they can rip into our army with some deadly accuracy and really just kind of fill up the Bloodletters. It's a nice little pincushion of crossbow bow. The crossbowmen will be fleeing. It looks like they are winded and just running for their life right now. Bloodletter's pretty good at hounding them and harassing them down now that their bodyguard has been broken. So chasing off two units like this is pretty good value for me. I think, speaking of value, the Bloodthirster's probably got quite a lot of it, dueling the enemy generals, and is now coming back into the main fight. Bloodletters are carving up Jade Warriors, and it was a really, really shaky fight. Particularly early on, we took so much damage, but Khorne, once they get going, can be really quite hard to stop. And you can see they're doing a decent job once again up against the Jade Warriors. This unit of Chaos Warrior dual weapons up to 148 kills. Not the craziest gold value, of course. The majority of the Cathay infantry is mid to low tier. We do have the Sword of Cain descending down from the skies as well, helping clear out some of the chaff and do some nice damage there to the Jade Warrior halberds. The cultists of Khorne alongside the Chaos Warriors with dual weapons though. These units also up to 78 kills, fighting more high value targets, so getting 1,000 damage is probably going to help me mop up the remainder of the Grand Cathay forces. Bloodletters slaughtering the enemy before turning around and ensnaring and surrounding the remaining Jade Warriors in a glorious trap to make even Tzeentch blush a little bit. It is a Pyrrhic victory though. We lost a bucket ton of troops, and it was all round a really good fun game. Well played to my opponent Logic. He is a YouTuber himself who does focus on Total War Warhammer 3 multiplayer content. If you like my stuff, you'll probably like his as well. You can find him at logic_EU. Well played. I do like the Zhao Ming pick, who got 1.2k value there. Really trying to milk as much final transmutation as possible out of him, rather than bringing him as a big dragon fighty lord. The Exiled Bloodthirster could not be contained. 2,552 gold value, sniping enemy generals and heroes left, right, and center. And honestly, that's probably won us the battle, breaking off all these infantry units with their low morale, due to the fact their leaders got taken down, because we were really struggling before then. You can see our Bloodletters got slaughtered in droves, which is quite problematic, of course, if your majority of your army is indeed Bloodletters. Hope you guys enjoy this one, and I will break down the stuff in a second, kind of the gold value and damage delta and stuff. But if you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you thought of the battle. Leave a funny comment. I do enjoy reading them. Or just, yell quack. Do whatever you want, really. Load links in the description to Twitch, Patreon, as well as Discord, where you can submit replays, get involved in tournaments and live streams I host, and all that juicy stuff. I'll probably be announcing a tournament today, I think, on release of this video. I'm doing this one in a bit in advance. Most likely being a tournament on Monday. I'll have to double check on when my GP appointments are and all that good stuff. But But yeah, we've already been over the Bloodthirster. Pretty decent job by him. 2.5k value, 970 and 279 for the Cultists, but both very healthy, and they're here for the summons regardless. Chaos Warriors of Khorne dual weapons were really just the backbone of this build. 1.1k gold value and 766, 175 and 103 kills. Not too shabby though. They were here just to clear out the chaff, and boy oh boy was there a lot of it. As for the Bloodles, 620, 240, 330, 127, and then 1.2k gold value really outshine. You can see which ones made it into combat with 143 and 210 kills, relatively unharmed by the dangerous ammunition of my opponent. Fleshhounds did okay, nothing too crazy, likewise with the Furies, but hey, they managed to harass the Crosswind and at least break them for a while, allowing the meat grinder to really begin. Jiaming, 21 kills, 1.2k value. The Alchemist just getting, bam, slapped up by the Bloodthirster quite comfortably. Halberds as well, in the mid-hundreds for the damage value, around that 500 mark for the majority of them. Crossbowmen, 650, 400, 920, ooh, juicy. 100 and 380 value on them. And yeah, not too much value. It's kind of spread on both builds relatively well. It kind of came down to the fact the mobility of the Exalted Bloodthirst allowed us to speed around the map, pinpoint enemy key targets in the form of their heroes and lord, and assassinate them rather quickly. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.